By virtually all accounts, Columbus went to his grave in 1506 convinced that he had not discovered anything new except a better route to arrive in Asia. However, most people at that time understood that he was wrong. And even before he died, there was an understanding that something new has been found, a new landmass. This isn't Asia. So then an age of exploration kicks off. It had kind of already been in the works because prior to even Columbus in 1492, the Portuguese were trying to get around Africa, but it really explodes after him. So in this section, we're going to cover the people that followed, the explorers who followed Columbus in that age of exploration. Most notable, perhaps, is a Portuguese man named Ferdinand Magellan, who, like so many people in our time, in that time, in all of human history, is basically motivated by the desire for fame and riches. So in 1519, he and a fleet of 5 ships leave Spain trying to find a western sea route to the Spice Islands. We should pause very quickly and note that spice was extremely important in 15th century Europe as it was used both to flavor food and to preserve food. So the likes of cinnamon, clove, and especially black pepper were really highly sought after items, especially because Europe couldn't grow their own, so they had to look elsewhere. So this motivates a lot of the exploration that happened. So instead of finding that, he discovers what is now known as the Strait of Magellan. It's a channel connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. In fact, he becomes the first European to cross the Pacific Ocean, and he even names it. He arrives at the Pacific and he's awestruck by how calm and peaceful the water seems compared to the Atlantic, so he names it Mar Pacifico. Unfortunately, violence and disaster await him when he finally arrives in the Philippines. He befriends the people on one island. They convince him to wage a battle on their enemies on another island. He does, thinking it's going to be very easy. It's not. He's ambushed. He's killed by a poison arrow. He had a young wife and a boy who's only a couple years old. Back in the old world, they never heard from Magellan again. He dies there, but the ships go back, and it has a huge impact. Europe's knowledge of geography is greatly expanded afterwards as he found not just a massive ocean that people didn't know about before, but he learned that the Earth was much, much larger than previously thought. And another thing that happened is even though all educated people at that time understood that the world was round, he kind of killed off flat eartherism for good and all. He showed that you could sail around the world, you wouldn't fall off. So that became very clear to people. So soon the French and the Spanish would be in on the game. All of these countries were searching really for the same thing. They wanted to find a route through the Western Hemisphere, through this new world, to Asia. None of them found it, but what they did find along the way were sometimes resources. They encountered new people, and they increasingly made their mark and laid a footprint on an already occupied landmass.